Hello, welcome everyone. So we'll start now. I hope that everyone is ready. So first, thanks for joining. Welcome everyone for joining us. So we'll start now. So the goal is to learn ready. So first, the goal is to learn how to use GDevelop. Thanks for and for this, I will go through mostly beginner questions that we've been asked about the game creation. And also, well, you have the YouTube chat, so feel free to just ask questions there, and the model team will try to pick up some and to send some of these questions to me. So I'm Florian. I'm the founder and original creator of GDevelop. So for this, I have GDevelop launched there. I will go through the questions and show you for every question how I think about them. Then I make a try at solving them. And I will also try from time to time the AI to see if it can help when creating games. There will be a mix of things that are very simple and things that are a bit more complex. The goal is to show, especially for new people, what you can do with GDevelop. So let's start. But before we start, you'll see in the live that there is a discount code showing at the bottom or maybe at the top. But I think it's at the bottom because it's the end of the year, and because we will also from time to time use the AI, we want to make sure that it's accessible for you. So using the discount code, you can have 20% off the yearly subscription for silver and gold subscriptions. If you don't have already a membership, then it's a good opportunity to get it now. It will be only available for the next day. So it's ready for you people watching the stream right now. So let's start. I have GDevelop started there. That's a platformer example. The first question we had was something quite simple, which is how to change the icon for the game, like the icon that you see when you download the game and launch it on your phone. So this will be quite quick. If you go in the product manager, in GDevelop, right there you have the properties and icons of the game, and the really handy thing is to go there to generate all the icons from one file. Right now I can, for example, choose a file in the game, for example the character there, and just generate everything. So that's what I recommend to do, noting that you can then go and change every icon if you need to. Especially the latest one for Android, it's one that is shown in a circle, so you have to make sure that your icon is adapted so that it looks correct on the latest Android versions. So yeah, one of the questions we got was from someone trying to implement a mechanism where the player picks something specific and then they go somewhere to unlock it. So I wanted to show how to do it, and first what we can do is to ask the AI how it will do. So let me just copy paste what the full question there. You can see that I've opened the AI tab in ask mode, meaning that it will just answer and not do anything in the game. So yeah, the question was to implement a mechanism where you can pick something and go to a specific spot. So there, what I will do is I will add a key that you can pick up, and when you have it, you can unlock the door. So that's something quite simple, but that will be helpful to show how we can use variables. Before we start, let's send it to the AI to see what it's telling us. So there is the key, and we will start by adding some events for doing this. So what we'll do is that when the player is colliding with the key, we will say that we will create a new change a variable so that the player has the key, and then we will when the player is colliding with the door, we will open the door. Let's just check what the AI told us. So yeah, that's mostly it. Create a scene variable as key. That's a good name. Why not? Let's use a collision event when we touch the key. and then when we unlock the door, we want to check if there is a collision between the player and the door. That sounds fair. The trigger ones can be used. That's maybe a possibility. We'll do something very simple, and yeah, that makes sense. So the AI explained how to do it. I will do it on my own. So yeah, I started by telling that we want to change a variable when we touch the key. So let's change a variable which we'll name as key, which will be we can use a boolean. It will be false by default, and we will set it to true when the player is touching the key, and we will then just delete the key. And then we can check if the player is in collision with the door. And if that's the case and it has the key, so we have to check the variable value. So if it's true, we have the key and the player is in collision with the door, then we can change the door animation, for example, by making it unlocked. Let's quickly check that this is working. I run the game now, and if I collect the key, then when I'm touching the door, it's opening. Okay, so that was a very simple thing to do when you're used to GDevelop, but I hope that for people that are starting with GDevelop, they understand how this works. Let's see something else. Yeah, someone wanted to make checkpoints with animations, and I think that this game is a perfect example to make checkpoints. So let's move a bit the key out of the way, and I will show how the save and load feature is working in GDevelop, and it's a full save of the game so that it's perfect to make animations. Sorry, not animations, to make checkpoints. So for this, we will add the flags there. Actually, the grid was pretty helpful. And maybe a second flag there. So when I touch the flag, I want to save the game. And if I'm dying, for example, if I touch the spikes, I then want to restart from the checkpoint after a bit of time. Let's, like the last time, let's ask the AI how it would do it. So we will say we can ask like something like I want to make checkpoint with animation. When I die, I want to load back the game at the last checkpoint. Let's see what it says, and in the meantime, I will do it on my own. So first thing I want to do is to add a new event, and when there is a collision between the player and the checkpoint, we can check if the checkpoint is not activated yet. So let's use the checkpoint and check the animation to check if the checkpoint is down. So when we collide with the checkpoint and the flag is down, then we will put the flag up. So we change the animation to up, and then we can use the save and load feature, which is part of the engine. So there, I can quickly go to save state, save, and save the game to the device storage, and I will name the storage as checkpoint. So that's it. And then when the player, when the player is colliding with the spikes, then let's say we can delete the player. It's a bit hard, but that will work. We will delete the player. We can then wait for let's say 1 second, and then we can load the full game from the device storage. So that's the load action, which is the equivalent of the save action, but for loading, and we have to enter the same storage name, so checkpoint. And that should work. In the meantime, you've seen that the AI have been telling me that when the player collides with a checkpoint flag, then we can save we can change the animation. That's what we've done already. and then we can use the save checkpoint action from the checkpoints extension to save the position of the player. And then we can respawn the player by moving it back. That's a way to do it so that the game is not restarted at the checkpoint. You're just moving the player. It's something that works, and we will ask again the AI later about save and load for another question. But let's see if my solution is working. So there I have the game running, and I'm touching the flag, and I can see it's now up. And now, if I die on the spikes, my player is deleted, and then we're coming back to the checkpoint. So it works pretty well, and we can see that if I touch the other checkpoint, and then if I die again, I'm starting from the checkpoint. That's pretty cool because the full state of the game is saved, which means that, for example, if I avoid this one, and if I avoid this one too, and if I avoid the spikes, if I get the key, then if I save the game at the checkpoint, then if I die, you can see that the key and the door will still be at the same value, at the same position, meaning that the key is gone and the door is open. So I think that was something interesting, and that's something that can be used for any kind of game complexity. So first question I got in the chat, well, one of the questions we got in the chat, what's the difference between using the 3 different AI options? Which is an interesting question because there are actually 2 ways of using the AI. The first one is the ask version, where you've seen what I've done. I enter a question, and the AI is analyzing the full game and then making an answer, knowing that the AI knows about everything that is available in GDevelop. So for example, last time it told us about the checkpoints extension, which I've not been using, but it could have been we could have been using it. The other mode is build. Build being when the AI is doing modification, it's building things for you in the game. We will try it later, but right now, because I'm doing the full manipulation in front of you, I'm doing it. But of course, I won't be there forever. In which case, the AI can be helpful because it can do things for you. Let's see just another question. Oh yeah, someone wanted to make a sprint mechanism. We can do it in this game. So how would you do something where when you press a key, then the player is moving much faster? And we could even add some stamina, meaning that there is a bar, and when you're sprinting too much, it's you have to slow down at some point. Let's ask the AI and let's see how I would do it. So, for example, we can start by asking this question: how to add a sprint mechanism with a stamina bar that stops the sprinting when the bar is exhausted and it grows back again when not sprinting. So again, I'm launching this as in the mode ask to see what the answer could be. You can always move to the build mode if you want then the AI to do the changes. So what I think is that we can add a new. So, well, the AI was too fast, way faster than I am, but that's fine. Let's search for a resource bar that we will use to show how much stamina you have. Let's use this one, for example, and we will put it there on the screen. Let's make it a bit bigger, and let's say that the maximum value is 100. So yeah, first thing that we can do is to make to change the speed so that we can sprint when I'm pressing a key. For example, let's say when I'm pressing the key X on my keyboard, then we want to make the platformer faster. So there, if I look at the answer of the AI, it's telling that we can use a scene variable to track the player's stamina. It's okay. We can use an object to visually represent the stamina. We can have been using a resource bar, but it's telling us about panel sprite, which is fine too. And then it's telling us that we can check if there is a key pressed, and if the variable if more than 0, then we can change the stamina. It's describing even the expressions that we can use. We will use ves later, so that's still useful. And it's telling us, I'm not sure it's telling us how to make the player faster. Oh yeah, max speed. You can get the default maximum speed of the character. So there is a way to change the maximum speed, and that's what we will do. We'll add an action on the player to change the max speed, which is there. And we'll set it to something like 1000, maybe. Let's give it a try. It's always a good thing to just try. And you can see that there I'm fairly slow, and if I press X, then I can go very fast. So now, how to make this so that we have to sprint only for some time. So my idea is to use a variable for it. We can add a variable on the player. So the AI told me about a scene variable, but I like to try with a variable on the player itself. So I've added an instance variable. It's on the instance, but also on the object. It will be on the object itself. And by default, we will set it to 100 because we can sprint. Let's set it to 100 for this instance. Okay, so now that it's done, what we can do is when X is pressed, then we will make the stamina go lower. So for this, we can use what described there. When we sprint, we reduce by this amount the stamina. So let's add an action. We take the player and we change the variable that I just created. We take the sprint and we remove some value, but instead of a specific value, we use this time delta expression, which allows to remove progressively. So there I will lose half of my stamina during a second. So in 2 seconds, I will have no stamina anymore. Then let me think. Let's check if the stamina is more than 0. Well, let's say that if it's less than 0, then we can set it to 0, so that we don't go below 0. And we can do it the other way too. If it's more than 100, then we will cap it at 100. And also let's add an event so that we change the value of this bar to the variable. We could ask how to do it. How to set the blue dot bar value to be the value of the sprint variable of the object. It's fairly easy. It's just an action, but again, I just want to see how we could ask the AI. And there it's telling you there is an action to change the value, and we can use player.sprint. I could go into build mode to ask for a change, but I will do it myself. So there, I don't need any conditions. See the conditions. I will just need an action on the blue dot bar to change the value. I missed it. There we go, value. And it told me player.sprint, which is how you access to the variable inside the player. Now, if I give it a try, if I press X, you can see that it's going down, but it's not going up when I stop press X. So let's do it. Let's copy paste this. When X is not pressed, then we can add back some value, some stamina, so that it's growing again. And also, when it's not pressed, we have to get back to the original speed. I will even increase the speed a bit more so that it goes really fast. And when the variable sprint is less or equal to 0, I also want to change the maximum speed so that it goes back to the minimum one. We should be good. There was a bit of back and forth to make it, but if I press X, then I'm going very fast. And when it's out of stamina, I can see that I'm just moving at the normal speed. And if I stop pressing, it's going up. Yep, that works. So there were a few questions on the platformer. Let me check quickly the questions in the chat. Yeah, how do I import map from tile with multiple tile sets? So yeah, I don't have the full time to show fully how to do it. But when you insert a tile map, you can choose, instead of using the tile map that is built in GDevelop, you can use the tiled version there. And there is a bunch of things, but you can import a tile map from tiled or LDTKs, which are softwares to build huge tile maps. And you can choose there the specific image with which you've built the tile map and also the tile set. So the question was, when you have multiple tile sets, in this case, if it was me, I would just create multiple objects, and each object will display a separate tile set. And so another question was, can you show the recommended way to build a map that visually use multiple tile sets? Yeah, same thing. I would use, multiple objects. You could even push them on different layers, and when the layer and be sure to put the layers camera position at the same position, and then you can then disable them. You can hide them so that you can build your level without seeing the rest of the map. There was a question about a crafting system. I will show an example about it later. And first and third person camera swapping mechanic. Maybe I can show an example of a 3D game, and there were questions about it too. And also about 2.5D games, so games with 2D and 3D elements. So let's see this. Let me close this project and let me take a new project so that we can talk about 3D games. Well, we can start with the questions, which is how to add 2D sprites in a 3D environment. I like this one because it allows to create games that are very good looking. So let me start. Let me create a new game. Oh, by the way, there was a question about how to create an FPS game. And that's very fun because that's where the AI can also help you. Like let me copy paste this question. We create a new game and enter the question that we got, which is how to create a 3D FPS movement and camera, just like popular games. We can ask the AI, which will automatically pick what it thinks could work for you. So I wonder which one it will use. Okay, so that's the 3D FPS example. And that works pretty well. There is also an example with a gun, but let's stay with this one because I think it will work pretty well. It's one of the basic examples, and you can see that the AI, after it has started picking a template, is suggesting things for you. So, for example, to implement shooting mechanisms there. There is already mobile control, so we don't need this. So what we can do is, let's see how to add a 2D sprite inside this game. And let me switch to the new 3D editor, so we have a beautiful view of this simple starter game. All right. So yeah, there is. Well, I can ask again the AI about. Let me check about the 2D sprites inside the game. Just pasting what we got there as a question again. Let's ask. So I think the AI will tell us about the billboard extension, which is something that exists and which is a reviewed extension, but we will use an experimental one. Okay, nice. It also told us, yeah, that's it. It told us about the 3D billboard, which is an extension that you put on a 3D box, and then the 3D box is moving towards you, so that you see it as a 2D sprite. But we have a better extension, which is still experimental, which is why the AI does not know about it yet. So let me show you. There I can go in the extensions, or I actually create a new object there, and finding the, well, let me ask the extension first. So there, if I go in search for new extension, and if I activate the experimental extension, I can search for 3D sprite, and there we go. We have a 3D sprite there. Can install it in the project. As it's still experimental, there was a warning telling you, be careful, this could change in the future versions of GDevelop. And now, when I click there to add a new object, I can select 3D sprite. And you can see that it's like a 2D sprite. You can have animations. So I will import images. Let me check. Let me save this on my computer first. There we go. And let me import images directly from my computer. So I have some images there, and when I'm importing them, they're all them got an issue. Let me restart with a new project. That's the demo effect. There was something that was bound to happen. Let's take again the 3D first-person game. And I think I'm good to restart GDevelop entirely, as it seems that I got some issue there. Let me restart so that we can work on something again. Got a pretty nice crash there. There we go. Right, we are up again, and let's create again this game from the example. All right, I think my internet connection didn't download properly the resources. So yeah, I was about to tell you about the 3D sprite extension. Let me add it again. It's now there. I can add a new object using it, and that's what I wanted to do, import animations from some images that I have there. Noting that when I'm doing it, it's automatically creating the animations. So that's good. If I put it on the game, I can see that it's shown like this in the 2D editor, and we can also see it in the 3D editor. And it's just a flat sprite, so we have to turn it toward us. So what I suggest is I can move it a bit more up in the air and rotate it on this axis. Whoops, the other direction. There we go. All right, we have a 2D sprite in our 3D world, and that's a good start already, because it's a full object. You can move it in the world, And what else? Yeah, we can, let's show how we can rotate it so that it's always toward us. If I launch the game right now, you will see that it's not just not moving. And we could expect it to face us. So in this case, it's a matter of adding an event to say, this sprite, I want to rotate it toward the player. And we'll do it at some speed. But you will see that it will rotate with some slight offset, which means that, let me show you. It's rotating, but it's trying, you cannot see it because it's rotating very fast toward me. See? Let me show it at a smaller speed. So the front direction is not where I'm expecting it. So that's why it's important for you to always try stuff. It's trying to face me, but when it's facing me, we don't see it because it's flat. It's just a sprite. So what we just have to do is to change, to make it, I can remove the speed so that it's immediate, and then I will add 90 degrees so that it's rotated, so that it's facing me. And I forgot to say add instead of set. There we go. We have it now in front of us, always in front of us, wherever we are. But because it's not a billboard, you can see that if I'm going up, we will see that it's not directly facing us. I mean, it gives a good result, I think. We could add multiple of them on the scene, but let me check the questions I got. Oh yeah, we could make. So someone wanted to make a 2.5D roguelike game with a custom camera. So let me show you a few things that we could do. So here we're using this object, which works as the player. It's called player, and if I edit the object, I can see that it has a few different behaviors that allows to move it and also to make sure the camera is shown through its eyes. So I can remove the behaviors that are related to the camera, and it means that the camera will stay at its default position, which is something, let me show you, which is something like this. We could try. And well, maybe we can add a new object to act as the camera. I will make sure the player is not hidden, and yeah, I will remove this action that looks through the eyes of the player. So right now, if I launch the game will the camera won't change its position. I forgot this thing. There we go. There is no more actions about the camera. Then we launch the game. There we go. You can see that you can see that the camera is not moving, and I can move my my player there, which is now visible, and we can see the sprite is moving toward me. So of course, it's not a beautiful view. So a way to do it is to add an object, another 3D box that we will use to look as a camera. There it's a new object. I won't put any texture on it, and I will just I will put it in the middle of the scene, and I will add an action so that we are looking through its eyes. So there is this action, look through object eyes, and I can take this camera object. So now if I run the game, I can see that I'm looking at the game from a very specific point of view, which is like if I was just there. Which is not perfect, but that works, because we can now take the object and move it a bit and rotate it a bit in this direction and maybe like this, and we should get a beautiful view of the game from there. Let me try it. Yeah, that's better. That's better. Could even put it higher so that it works for, you know, a kind of roguelike game. That's better. That's better. And you can also change the object there to remove these mapper behaviors, which are allowing you to move the object, to use instead behaviors to move the object like in a platformer game. So let me search for 3D platformer, and I have a bunch of controllers. I can use the 3D platformer keyboard mapper. I can also add the 3D platformer multi-touch mapper so that it will work on a touch screen. Let me show you. So there, now I can jump, and you can see that my player is moving and it's rotating according to the direction where I'm going. So it's a small change, but it works well better for a 3D game. Sorry, a 3D platformer or a top-down view like this. Not really a top-down view, but it's not too far. And what else? I want to show you something else, which is let's remove this camera. Let's remove the action to look through this camera, and let's make another camera type, which is a third-person view, because someone has been asking about a third person. So I can edit the object again and add yet another behavior, which is, I think, called third-person camera. And that's mostly it. I think it works just like this. Yep, I'm not behind the player, and I can follow it. You can see that it's moving very quickly. I can also use it with a touch screen. But it's a bit hard to control because it's moving really fast, and even faster when I'm going beyond, when I'm going back. So for this, it's just a matter of adapting the speed of the camera. So if we reduce the time for it to rotate, and if I update the game, you can see that I'm updating the game without relaunching it, then it should go. It should be easier. Well, it's a bit too fast again. Let's not go too low. It's actually faster. I went the other direction, which is fine. Which is why it's fun. In the halfway time, it's not a speed; it's a time. So actually, I want half a second between for the camera to rotate. If I preview the game, it should be it's going way slower to rotate. So I can go in all the direction and move quickly, but still without being disoriented. If I use the touch screen, it's looking more like something that you can control easily. But it's quite smooth, actually. So I think that we went through all the kind of 3D camera that you can have, the third-person camera, then we add the camera that was fixed, then there we have a third-person camera. That's different stuff that you can do. And the 2D 2.5D sprite in the game. Let me show. Oh yeah, we had the question about the crafting system, and the question about how would you swap between a first and a third-person camera. And in this case, you add the behaviors. Actually, let's ask the AI how it would do it. But if it was me, I would use the third-person behavior, which is what we did. And also I will add back the behavior to have the first-person view, and I will then activate or deactivate the behaviors according to the mode you want to have, which is, I guess, exactly what the AI told us. See, set up a variable to track the camera mode. That sounds like a great idea. You want a variable that is telling you, are you in the third or the first person view? And you can change this variable using a key press. That's not super complex to do. And then you add an event that checks, is the camera mode equal to third person? In this case, you use the action to look through the object. The player object is supposed to have the third person camera behavior. And when the camera mode is first person, then you look through the object eyes. So let me say it again. When you're in first person, you look through the player eyes, which is an action. And if you're in the third person, then you use the action to look at an object from a distance. But it's just easier to use the third person camera. And finally, yeah, true, the way you move on the screen can change. So don't forget to also enable and disable the camera. Sorry, not the camera, the behaviors to control the object. It's a bit more complex. It's something that you will have to try and to make sure that you don't forget to enable or disable a behavior. Otherwise, you will get some behavior trying to control the same object at the same time, which will be, I guess, fun. Let me close the project. I wanted to go on another question, which was the crafting system. Actually, we have an example for it, which is this one. I could ask again the AI, but I know exactly what I want, which is this one, the third person, the 3D farming example. And someone was asking, I want to learn how to fully save the state and the inventory. Well, that's a good example, because there is not a full crafting system, but I'm more interested in how we save the inventory, because there is an example of an inventory, and it's working already. I can grab a carrot there, I can grab some stuff, and then put them, and it's growing. I will try to get the AI to implement the save system for me. So, and see if things are going. I love this example. Simple, but it's pleasant. So let me open a new chat. I'm going to the build mode this time, and I will ask the AI something like this. Let me paste this. Add save load buttons that use the save system to save the game, because I know there is this save state system. So I want to try it to see if we will get a good result with the AI. And I've just saved, so in case it goes wrong, I can just stop and retry. So there we can see it's adding two objects, save button and load button. That sounds like a good start. There are two buttons from the asset store. Oh yeah, it has been just putting them on the screen. So far it's a bit faster than me, so it's good. Then it's changing their labels to be save and load. Okay, why not? I could do it myself, but that's fine. And then it's reworking. Yeah, it's saving. Let me show you the details. So it instructed the GDevelop AI to make some events. We will check this, and it's telling us what it has been doing. The events are there. When the save button is clicked, we save the game to the device storage, save game, and we load it if the load button is clicked. Well, very simple, but that's what I was expecting. So are these buttons on the right layer? I think so. Let's give it a try. Yeah, we can see that they have the proper label. It was not shown in the editor because I think that we'll have to ensure that it's refreshed after the AI has done some work, but that's okay. So let me take a few things and take this carrot there and put it there. and I can save the game. And now if I'm moving a bit, I can load back the game exactly where I was. And it's growing again, and I can load it again, and it's growing again. Okay, so it's working. It's exactly what I've shown you in the 2D version, but now in 3D, which is again great because the game engine is taking care of this for you. You can save also the state inside the can save the state of the game inside a variable in case you want to do things like saving it to a file. But the default actions, they are saving into the device storage. And I'm happy because the AI has been doing exactly what we wanted it to do. So it was not super difficult, but if you don't know things about GDevelop, I encourage you to try stuff. Sometimes it's getting things wrong, but sometimes it's also helping you to do this, to discover some extension that you didn't know about. We got some questions. Can you go over how to make a local co-op game? How to assign which controllers will control which player object? Yes, I will just quickly, because there are a lot of questions actually, so I have to speed up a bit. So there I have a single player object, which is just there. So what you could do is to duplicate this object. You make just another player object. So player 2 that you can add on the screen. It's much bigger. Generally, either you use different events to control the different players, or in the case of so that's what I will do for the keyboard. You use different events with conditions checking if a key is pressed and an action to move the player or to simulate a control. There are actions to simulate controls. Also, if you're using the real gamepads, you can go there on the mapper. The mapper behaviors, and there are mapper behaviors for, I think, the 3D platformer. 3D platformer keyboard mapper, multi-touch mapper, and 3D platformer gamepad mapper. Of course, there it was a first-person view, so it won't work. But I wanted to show you that there you can have, you can choose for each object which gamepad is controlling which object. But that works better in a game where it's not a first-person view. I would recommend that you use what I've shown before, which is a fixed camera, and you start from it. From a fixed camera, you add two players, two different objects, and then you add the mapper for the gamepad or the keyboard or the multi-touch for the first player, and then for the second player, you use events. Or if you want to do it exactly the same for both, you can use events for moving them. If you go to the actions of the player, you will see that there are a lot of actions, but in particular, there are actions to simulate key pressed, like jumping or moving. So that's these actions that I recommend you to use. All right. Is there any possibility? That's another question that I'm reading right now. Is there another possibility of making a parallax with the 3D feature? Yes. I'm just discovering the question. I guess that you could add some 3D boxes in the background, and you put multiple of them. I've not played Silksong, so I'm just trying to find how I will do it. But I will put multiple 3D boxes with semi-transparent backgrounds at different positions, and you could then move it so that it's following the camera, and it gives an effect of parallax because one could be moving faster than the other. It's a bit like in 2D. When we think about it, I have another question, which is, can we create 3D shaders using an extension or even JavaScript? So that's fun that you ask, because yes, that's not something that is supported right now inside GDevelop, but that's something that you can still do with extensions. And we've not spoke about extensions because it's a more advanced feature, but it's a very interesting one. So let me show you. I think that we can open the wipeout example, a new example that we've made for the 3D editor. And there we go. That's the level of the game. And so I'm not sure if you've seen when you tried this example, if you tried it already, but there on the water that you're seeing there are some kind of distortions, and it's made using a shader. So what is a shader? It's some kind of program that is running on your graphics card to modify how the pixels are rendered on screen or on a texture on an object. It's something that is also called an effect in GDevelop. So if you, for example, take let's take the base layer object, the base layer, and you can see that there are some effects like the lights, the skybox, and some fog. So for example, you can increase the fog. It was very low, and we can increase it a bit to see how it's looking. Oh, it's a bit too much now. So these effects are actually shaders already running on your game. So this one is adding fog, and I can also entirely remove the fog by making it very, very light. And in the next version of GDevelop, all these properties will be something that you can edit directly in the sidebar. So you will be able to see them directly in the 3D editor, which will be super, super nice to do quick changes without even running the game like I did right there. So there, I wanted to show this object there, the water plane. It's made with an extension having a shader. So let me open it. That's the water plane there. You can see it's an object. It's a custom object with a specific behavior. What does this mean? Let me show you. If I open the water shader extension, you can see there are two things there, a custom object and a custom behavior. What we're interested in is mostly the custom behavior. Custom objects, I will show you how to make a custom object later. There, it's a custom object that was created only entirely using code, so it's not the point of the stream, but still you can see that it's using Three.js, which is the 3D rendering engine, to create some 3D objects in the scene, and then it's applying there a shader which is coded directly there in the extension. So if you inspect how it's made, you could adapt this behavior to make a new shader that can be applied to other objects. This being said, I will recommend you make sure that you learn a bit about shaders, and for this, again, the AI is a good way to do it because it has knowledge about everything related to programming in the world. So it's a good, this kind of question is a good candidate also for the AI to see if it can help you, for example, understand. You can even try to copy paste some code and ask it to explain. More questions. I think the time is running out, but I will try to answer quickly again some questions. How to add a kill box to kill the player and reset the scene? I'm not. I mean, that's not too hard in theory. Let me ask the AI, and I will give you the answer in the meantime. That's fairly simple. That I've seen. It's something that we've done already. So you can create a box, a 3D box, for example, that will be there. I can resize it a bit so that it's larger. And the most simple way to do it is to add a condition to check is the player. Oh, there are lots of objects there. How is the player called? Oh yeah, player there. And when it's in collision with the new object I created, which is called new 3D box, which is a terrible name, you can see that it's not working. It's not working because I'm told the behavior 3D physics is not attached to the new 3D box. So that's fine. We can fix it. We go to the new 3D box and we can rename it like kill box. And there on the left, we can see that there are, for example, right now, no behaviors. I can just add there the behaviors which I've been told about, 3D physics. That's it, the 3D physics engines, just there. The type by default is dynamic, meaning that I can push the box. Let me show you. There, the box is there, and because it's dynamic, I can move it on in the level. That's not exactly what we want, but that works. That works. We can check for a collision with it. It's actually more fun to make a kill box that can move around. So if the player is colliding with the kill box, I can add an action to restart the scene. We could use the save load actions that I've shown previously, but to restart the scene, it's just simpler to go to other actions, and in the scene action there is change the scene, and we can just choose the current scene to restart it from the beginning. There we go. We restart. It's a bit speedy, but it works. We could add some wait action so that we wait before restarting it. And it's something that I've done at the beginning of the stream using the platformer example. So there is a question: can we move the NPCs, so the non-player objects, so for example enemies, through pathfinding for games like simulations where they move to the 2D to the second or the third floor? So right now the pathfinding is working only in 2D, but it can work for 3D. For 3D games, but it won't work to climb up stairs. It can work a tiny bit. Let me show you an example, which is the I think that's the 3D horror game. There we go. So there is a thick fog there. So there is this bad guy there that will try to chase us, and we are the player just there. And you can see that there things are going. I mean, the floor is going up, and we put some red obstacles there. So it means that from the pathfinding point of view, it will avoid the red obstacle and it will properly climb this. But this works only for a flat level, or at least not things where there are multiple floors. I encourage you to look at this example. The monster there, so the orange object there, it's having there on the left a pathfinding behavior. We are welcoming contributions from open source contributors for making a 3D pathfinding. We're actually having some experimental extension that work with something called a navigation mesh, which allows to work on very large levels. But that's a bit out of the scope of this call. Yeah, there is a question how to make a typewriter effect for text, and where you can press enter to instantly finish typing, so the player is then waiting for text. I've not checked this, but I know that we have an example for the typewriter, which is something called type on text effect there. And I will also ask the AI to see what it can tell us. You can see that whenever I'm using the AI, I'm using some AI credits, which is credits that you get either for free with a new account, but it's very limited, because it's something that is costing us money because we are running the AI for you. So when you get a silver or gold subscription, and you can get one with 20% off using discount code, then you have 200 credits per week for the silver accounts and 1,000 for the gold accounts. So there you could read a bit what it's telling you, which is to use this auto-typing behavior, which is already added on this object. There you can see auto-typing on the left. And then you can create an action so that when you press a key, the auto-typing is directly showing the full text. Let me just show you. Let me reduce the sound. Let's just set it to 0. So yeah, this beautiful example is just showing the typing effect. And right now, when I click on the left button or any key, then it's changing the text. And when the text is changing, then the typing is starting again. There. And I press the key, we are changing it. And we're doing only when the typing is finished. What I will do is probably do what the AI is telling, which is to just make the interval time very low, maybe 0, to that it's displaying everything. Maybe not 0, maybe something like 0.001, so that it's showing almost immediately, but with a nice animation. And then when the key is released, you set the typing interval back to the original value, so that is starting again to type at the right interval, at the right speed. We are out of time, but let me check if I have a few other things in mind, or there are last questions that I can answer very quickly. So we talked about shaders, save state. We talked about, someone was asking how to make a game based on levels. So right now we've shown just examples with a single level in the game. And what you should probably do if you want to make multiple levels, for example, there, let me open the 3 driving example. So what you can do is to use external layouts. So if you duplicate the scene there to make another one, it will work, but you have then to change the events inside every single scene because it's a full duplicate. So all the objects, they're duplicated. All the events, they're duplicated. So instead, once you're happy with what you have in a scene and you want to make multiple levels in your game, just duplicate, don't duplicate the scene. Instead, create an external layout. For example, you can call it level 1. And inside level 1, you choose the parent scene. So there is just one. And there you can start building your new level. So I'm just making something up right now. And add the player car and some stuff around there. Right. And what you can do then is you can also copy paste the whole game there. Well, the whole level, you can copy paste it in an external layout. For now, I will just remove it. That will be just simpler to do it this way. So let me take everything and remove it. Here we go. So if I preview the game right now, there is a whole bunch of nothing, which is expected. Then how you do it to start a level, you start the scene and you use an event so that at the beginning of the scene, you use an action to create the objects from the external layout. So I can search for external layout. Or if I don't know about it, I can just look in the actions for something related to external layouts. There we go. It's something that you can learn again from the AI if you ask these questions. So I'm like, it can create the object from level 1 at the position 0, 0, 0. And there we go. We're in the first level, and it works great. It was great. And I can create other levels like this. For example, I can duplicate this one, level 2, can open it. It's missing objects. Let me try it again. I think that something is missing in the 3D editor. That's okay. It should work if I relaunch it. That's a small bug that we will fix. I wanted to show you the difference by adding something that's different. So there, I'm just making some changes in the level so that we can see the two different ones. If I launch the game again, that's the first level with the new object that I've put in the 3D editor. And then if I change this to be level 2, then I'm in the level 2, which is a tad different, and that's the grass that I've just added in the editor of the level 2 external layout. So that's how you can create multiple levels. And you can ask, sure, but how can I launch the right level? Because right now it's something that I have put there in the actions. So there you can use an expression. And instead of writing level 2 in between quotes, you can use a variable that, for example, a global variable containing the name of the external layout. You can then create a main menu scene, call it main menu, where you can have multiple buttons. And when you click on the button 1, level 1, then you change to the scene, game scene. But before, you use the action to set the global variable, let's call it level name, to level 1 or level 2, according to the button that you clicked. And then there, so you create a global variable there, level name. And you can then use it by just writing the name of the variable. And let me show you that it works. Right now, the variable is empty. It's a number. Let's move it to a text. And it's empty. So it means that the level won't be found. It's empty. But if I rename this to level 2, then it works. I get the level 2 created. So you can imagine that in a previous scene, you can change this variable before changing the scene. So that's how you create a menu. You can also save this progress. You can save the name of the last level in the storage using the actions, or you can use the save load actions. Yeah, I think we're out of time. So again, remember about the discount code that we've shown. It's only working for the next 24 hours. So give it a go before it's expiring, and it's 20% off the yearly subscription. That when you get it, you get access to the AI and all the multiplayer leaderboards, analytics, and everything that is part of the subscriptions for a full year. And you're saving the most money, of course, with the gold subscription, because it's 20% off the full price, and it works wherever you are in the world. Yeah, there were other questions. I'm sad I cannot answer to everything, but we have to cut the stream right now. So yeah, thanks a lot for joining. We will do it again, so please join us next time. Please continue to use and make great stuff with GDevelop. The last game jam was awesome, but also the last stage scene game jam where there were the idea was to create the best looking 3D scene, and there were awesome stuff. The results are coming shortly. Thanks for joining again. And don't forget about the discount code if you want to have GDevelop for a full year with the AI, which is mostly unlimited if you use the gold account, or you can even go for the pro account. And yeah, I see you in the community soon.